until one night, the last night, they slept in their beds, thinking tomorrow would be like every other. But tomorrow never came. Not for them, because when the sun rose, there was no Araromi-Oke. Welcome to Oma's story Nook, where history gets spicy, legends get a remix, and imagination runs wild. Every tale you hear is a whisper of Oma, echoing across time, truth, and shadow. Africa's history holds empires of gold, kingdoms of might, and battles that shook the earth. But hidden in its folds are stories whispered in markets, carried by elders, and remembered only in shadows. This is one of them, a town that vanished, not over centuries, not over years, but in a single night. The place was called Araromi-Oke. Nestled in the Yoruba heartland, it was a thriving settlement. Farmers tilled red earth, children laughed under the palms, drums echoed through nights of festival. Life was ordinary, beautiful, secure, until one morning in 1957. Neighbors came to visit and found only emptiness. Cooking fires still smoldered. Calabashes of palm wine stood untouched. Clothes fluttered on lines in the breeze. But the people, every last soul, were gone, vanished, without a trace. This is the story of Araromi-Oke, the town that disappeared in a day. To understand the weight of what was lost, we must first step into Araromi-Oke as it was. It was not a great empire like Mali or Benin. It was not carved in stone like great Zimbabwe. It was a farming settlement, ordinary, grounded, alive. At dawn, women drew water from clay pots and greeted the sun with songs. Men marched into fields with cutlasses sharp from Ogun's iron. Children carried baskets twice their size, laughing as they stumbled after goats. The smell of roasting maize drifted through courtyards, the air pulsed with rhythm, the hum of work, the chatter of traders, the clang of blacksmiths, the gossip of mothers braiding hair under mango trees. Festivals lit the nights, masquerades danced, praise singers chanted lineages that stretched back centuries. The gods were close here. Ogun, Sango, Orunmila, invoked in prayer, feared in silence. Araromi-Oke was not large, but it was full, full of life, full of continuity, and perhaps it was also full of secrets. For in whispers, it was said the town had a covenant with Ogun, god of iron and war, a pact that bound its people to respect his domain. Break it, and the land would turn its face away. Still, the people carried on, day after day, season after season, until one night, the last night, they slept in their beds, thinking tomorrow would be like every other. But tomorrow never came. Not for them, because when the sun rose, there was no Araromi-Oke. It began with the neighbors. Farmers from nearby villages came at dawn to trade palm wine and kola nuts. They expected laughter, greetings, maybe a haggling or two. Instead, they found silence. The marketplace was empty. The hut stood wide open. Not a child running, not a baby crying, not even the bark of a dog. One man shouted, Araromi! Eku Aro! Good morning. Only his echo replied. And then came the chilling details. A pot of yam still boiling on a fire, palm wine still frothing in its gourd, clothes hanging on a line swaying in the breeze, but no hands to claim them. It was as if the town had paused mid breath and simply never exhaled again. They searched every hut, empty. They searched the fields, empty. They searched the shrine to Ogun, silent. No bodies, no footprints leading away, no signs of attack, war, or disease. Just nothing. The people of Araromi-Oke had vanished, leaving their world intact but hollow. Imagine standing there, looking at pots still steaming, fires still crackling, food still waiting to be eaten, but the hands that cooked it, the voices that blessed it, gone. No one ever saw them again, and that was when fear began to spread. How does a town disappear in a night? Theories sprang like weeds. Some said it was Ogun, that the people broke their covenant, perhaps using iron wrongly, perhaps neglecting the deity who had armed their ancestors. And Ogun, wrathful, absolute, claimed them all. Others whispered of spirits, that a masquerade had danced unbidden, that an ancestral curse, long buried, rose to claim its death. More practical voices argued migration, that perhaps, in the dead of night, the town simply left, slipping away to build anew in another land. But if so, why leave fires burning, meals cooking, possessions untouched? And then there were the darker whispers that maybe it was not migration, not spirits, not Ogun, but something unspeakable, an abduction not of this earth. Yet there was no proof, not one body, not one clue. The mystery only deepened, twisting into legend. And so Araromi-Oke became a ghost story, a warning told by elders to children. Honor the gods, respect the covenants, or the ground beneath your feet will swallow you whole. But was it a warning? Or was it simply the human mind, desperate to explain the unexplainable? The truth was silence. Today you will not find Araromi-Oke on any map. No colonial record confirms its fall. No historian can show you the graves of its people. But in the Yoruba heartland, ask an elder in hushed tones and they will nod. Yes, Araromi-Oke, the town that vanished. The story survives not in books but in whispers, in firelight tales, in the shiver that runs through children when the night grows too quiet, in the warning that life, no matter how ordinary, can collapse in a single dawn. Perhaps the people did migrate. Perhaps they were lost to plague, to war, to something unrecorded, or perhaps they are still there, hidden, unseen, erased not from the earth but from our sight. What matters is not whether the story is fact or myth. What matters is that it lives, that a whole community, vanished or not, is remembered every time the tale is told. For in telling, they are not gone, they remain in our voices, in our fears, in our imagination. And so Araromi-Oke lingers, not in stone, not in record, but in memory and in mystery. This isn't just history. This is Omar's story Nook, where truth whispers between the lines and legacy refuses to fade. A town that lived, a town that vanished, a story that refuses to die. Maybe Araromi-Oke's people walked into another land. Maybe they broke a covenant. Maybe they simply remind us that history is more fragile than we think. Because sometimes all it takes is one night and the ordinary becomes legend. Until the next whispers of Omar, stay listening. Araromi. Okay, the town that vanished in a day,